all this because you almost died.
I've had a pacemaker for maybe 12 years or so. I never in a million years would have thought a pacemaker can cause an infection in my body. Not realizing bacteria can attach onto the wires leading from the pacemaker to your heart.
Nobody ever said if you have something artificial in your body, any kind of infection is going to find that place. All I knew is if you have something artificial, when you go to the airport, you can't go through the metal detector, you got to get screened. That's all I knew.
We rarely talk about indolent infections. We rarely talk about bacteremia. This is something that we all need to be doing better.
My father passed away at a very young age. He had a lot of ailments, and I didn't want to fall into that category. I knew I had to start getting in shape, and the only thing I really knew how to do was run. I did 20 Ks and a half marathon, and I built it all the way up to a marathon. One day I was out running in the morning, and I collapsed in the street.
I know my husband had been through a lot of surgeries and valve replacements, so there were issues that I would keep kind of an eye for. He had the pacemaker put in the summer, maybe July. No big deal, everything was fine. He had a dental procedure maybe in August. In September, I think I noticed some symptoms. He couldn't control his urination, which was really kind of a serious thing. He was very short-tempered. He would get dizzy, he would get sweaty, then he'd be cold.
I went back to the doctors, and they checked me out. There's nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong with you. And he might change my medication, give me a different kind of blood pressure pill.
When he comes back, he could barely get out of the car, he could barely walk. I'm calling 911, something is wrong.
So I first became aware of Jerry's case when I got an alert from our electronic medical record. We have a system in place that if someone has a cardiac implantable device and bacteremia, then an alert gets sent to the electrophysiology team. And so one of my colleagues did a transesophageal echo in order to visualize if there was bacteria on his pacemaker leads, and there was. The bacteria that grew is one that really commonly infects devices in kind of an indolent, slow way. And so I really thought this is something that we need to take seriously. We met with Jerry and said, hey, Jerry, I know you're feeling better because you've been getting antibiotics, but this isn't something that is going to just go away unless we remove the system and get the hardware out of the bloodstream.
There's hope. If you are an advocate for yourself and you say to the doctor, this isn't right, his personality has changed, something is wrong, and he has a pacemaker.
I really have to thank my wife for pushing me into all these things. She knows when something's wrong. I guess I was getting depressed a lot. I said, I haven't eaten a hot dog in years. Maybe I'll feel better if I eat it.
He was at his wit's end. He didn't know what to do. He went to everywhere where he thought he could get care, and he still felt lousy. When we think of a pacemaker infection, we think of a pacemaker coming through the skin or something that's really visible. Jerry's pacemaker looked great. No one would have looked at him and thought this is clearly an infection of his pacemaker. This is a bloodstream infection, a lead infection. And so we all have to be a little bit more aware in patients that we're following for these devices to be on the lookout for these types of signs.
By removing the pacemaker, I've been able to get on with my life and be more optimistic about tomorrow, and I can live again.